I'm here! I'm finishing it! We're finally finishing! We're finally finishing My Furry Protogen 2. I haven't played this game in almost a year. The last episode was uploaded in May of 2024 on the main channel. But now we've got the extras channel. I'm gonna upload the rest of the series here. So if you guys like what you see, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss further My Furry Protogen or My Protogen Engineer content. And let's go see what Juno's been up to. In the last year since I played this game, I have added a new version of Juno to my stream over on Twitch. I've given her a brand new brain so she can actually like respond to you guys and chat with you guys live on stream. And I started this brand new channel to upload these videos because they kind of stopped doing really well on the main channel, but I still wanted to upload these kinds of videos. As it so happens, this is the first unreleased footage I've ever had for upload on this channel. So this episode of My Furry Protogen 2 is going to be the first new content on the channel. Everything else up to this point has been a re-upload. But we're going to finish My Furry Protogen 2. My Furry Protogen 3 is coming up right behind it, hopefully releasing soon. It's not released yet. Stop asking me about it because it's not done yet. I talk with the devs basically daily. It's not done yet. Speaking of the devs, I actually partnered with Dirty Fox to get them some merch done. So if you guys are interested in any My Furry Protogen or My Protogen Engineer merch, check out the links in the description below. We got a lot of cool stuff done, a bunch of cool stuff on the way, including a Xena and Juno body pillow coming very soon. Ignore this text on the bottom left. It doesn't exist anymore. Oddly enough, I've remained spoiler-free for this game for the last year since I played it. So I want to actually finish it now. I want to see where the story takes us, where we end up, and what these anomalic devices are that are killing planets. Because, like, I think the last thing I remember is we met the dude in the snow forest who's gonna help us find the anomalies on this snow planet to save his planet, and then he wants to take us, us to take him with us? I don't know what's gonna happen. All I know is I'm very excited to see Juno again and her huge personalities. And it's gonna be great! It's gonna be great! Oh, that's right! Here we are! He wants to take us with him. He wants to take him with us. That's what I should say. Such a request stumped Juno and me. We were stunned, staring at Lance with our eyes wide open. With us? Into space? Yes, I won't get in your way. The Protogen was telling me about space stations where you find companions and travel the universe. I want to get to a station like that, but I'll never be able to do it unless you help me. So he wants to travel. He wants to be a little vagabond, a space vagabond. He wants to go explore in the space things. Please, it won't cost you anything. I won't cause any problems, just a silent companion who'd travel with you for a while. Juno and I were silent as we considered Lance's request, who looked at us with hope in his eyes. I hadn't expected him to ask something like that at all. But after being on this planet, even for a few days, I could see why some people were so desperate to get out of here. Juno, after a few long seconds of silence, finally asked, "Are you sure this is what you want? You realize that there's a chance that you'll never be able to return here, right?" Lance pressed his lips together, his face contradictory emotions of longing, humility, and determination. He sighed and nodded. "I've been thinking about this for a long time, ever since that Protogen flew away. I don't think this is the life I want for me here. I've never even gotten beyond these woods, never seen anything. And what is there to see on this planet? There's nothing but snow everywhere. Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamed of leaving here, of traveling, and when that Protogen arrived and told me that there were other planets, other civilizations, felt like this was my chance to find a new life away from here. I would give anything to see the dense forests of another planet, to see how other creatures live there. And even if it means I have to say goodbye to this planet forever, so be it." Dude is so eager to leave home, leave everything behind. Like, I don't exactly remember his backstory, if he's just a traveler or if he's part of a clan or something, like maybe our character was, but like, man, Juno is breaking all the laws of first contact. I could hear in Lance's voice that something was holding him back and he didn't want to talk about it. Watching him, I couldn't help but remembering how I'd left my village myself, only to return later to the ruins. Lance, you don't really need it. We'll help you if you're really ready for it. If you don't change your mind until then, we'll take you on a ship and drop you off at the nearest station, okay? I glanced at Juno, wanting for some reason to stand up and object, to convince her it was a bad idea, but I kept my lips pressed together. I think, in this case, our character is the most versed in this, because he left his planet, and then it got destroyed. He didn't get to see his mom or his dad before they were gone, or his village. Like, everything was destroyed by the time he got back. So, like, I feel like our character should speak up in this situation. I don't know what it is with our character doing the opposite of what, like, should happen. When Lance heard her answer, he said happily, "Of course, I won't bother you at all. You have my word. You have no idea how important this is to me. You will completely change my life. Thank you." I stayed silent again, clenching my jaw, trying not to say too much. And here's the thing. This reminds me of the episode of Orville where the one girl from the purely democratic society comes up from the planet where they, like, vote the master feed and everything like that. They vote yes or no on people, like, yeah, and true democracy sort of thing. Reminds me of that situation where she wanted to board the Orville because she had seen what the Orville was and what technology we had in the future of humanity and wanted to be a part of that. Couldn't exactly forget it and realize that her society kind of sucks, but then later on realizes that she made a really bad decision, wanted to bring some of that technology from the Orville back to her planet to quote-unquote save people, which is noble in itself, breaks all first contact laws. It just reminds me of that, where this guy might just regret leaving his planet, especially if he's got people that he loves and he's leaving them behind. I don't know. Lance's desire was understandable, but still something inside me was churning, rising to my throat, wanting to burst out. It seemed like an extremely bad idea, but Juno didn't think so, apparently. Let's find the device first. Lance immediately nodded and smiled. Sure, come on, we're almost there. We've already bypassed most of the dangers, so we're less than halfway there. Come quickly. I guess we're gonna find the anomaly. With great enthusiasm, Lance set off ahead, almost skipping in the snow. Lance is just golden retriever energy. Lance is a good boy. Isn't that right, Juno? Lance is a good boy. Am I your good boy? I'm a good boy. You give me a headpad. Oh my god, if she headpats me, I'm gonna die. We continued on our way, chatting casually as we approached our destination. The next day. Ooh. Again, I wish I could see these backgrounds. They look like they're very pretty. We spent the next few days with Lance, who helped us with the search for devices, staying overnight in our jet so we wouldn't have to go back to the village. Juno asked if no one would lose him if he didn't come home for a few nights in a row, but Lance just waved it off, saying it was okay and he was old enough to be gone for a few days. Lance was a nice guy, and Juno and I really enjoyed hanging out with him. He was genuinely interested in us and our jet, and enjoyed chatting with Pixie. When he first got on the jet, he almost jumped out of his skin when he heard Pixie's voice. That's such an interesting response, like, away from what I would expect. Somebody who comes from a, like, hunter-gatherer society with no technology suddenly coming across, like, all the technology, like some future shit, spaceships and, like, medical bays and, like, all this high-tech future shit. Like, I think I would be in shock. I would be in culture shock. I'd be in the fetal position on the floor at Juno's feet, just asking her to fucking hold me. As it turned out, the Protogen, who had been to these places and interacted with Lance, had not invited him to his jet, most likely because Lance was a child at the time, so everything here was new and unusual to him. The more I looked at Lance, the more I felt a not-so-pleasant sense of recognition. Lance reminded me so much of myself that, in some cases, it was even creepy. He was genuinely interested in all things he didn't know, asked Juno millions of questions, listening with rapt attention to the answers, and never mentioned a word about his village or his family if he had any. He preferred not to talk about himself at all, switching all of our attention to stories about his planet and his people, in return to receiving stories about the distant, dark space. Lance wanted to travel and explore as much as I did. He was literally on fire for it. And every little event, unfamiliar word or object held a childlike fascination to him. I suspected there was something behind all of this that Lance didn't want to tell us, just as I hadn't wanted to tell Juno, but I couldn't say for sure. Nor could I ask directly. Such topics were too personal, and even if Lance and I had become great friends over the past few days, it still didn't mean anything yet. I was torn with conflicting emotions when it came to him. On the one hand, I liked talking to Lance, I liked getting to know him better, and he really didn't interfere with our search for the devices. He even helped us. He always woke up early with the first rays of sunshine obscured by clouds and, emerging from his assigned sleeping compartment in the very tail of the jet, chatted a lot with Pixie and Navigation sitting in the captain's chair. On the one hand, it seemed to me that by agreeing to take Lance aboard our ship and take him to the nearest station, we were doing something bad. Because of that, I kept thinking about how I could talk Lance out of it, how I could passively tell him that distant space was not a place where any ordinary creature from an underdeveloped civilization wanted to go. I told him that I already knew about the dangers of the Black Void, the planets that could seem like hell, but Lance never took my words as a warning. He asked for more, responding vividly and expressively to my stories. It sounds like he just wants to go on an adventure. He sees that the universe is a big, vast place and wants to discover all of it. Right? That's not bad. I like that. I like that attitude. You should want to try to do new things. I felt both angry and sympathetic at the same time, and I respected him for burning with his dream. And though it seemed wrong to indulge such dangerous desire as space travel, I still wasn't in a hurry to get into an open argument and say outright that Lance didn't want it. Meanwhile, while looking for the device, I was getting better accustomed to the local climate, even if I still couldn't stand it. Seeing my displeasure and discomfort, Lance asked me about my planet, what it was like, what the climate was like, though I'd already told him he wanted to know more. About my civilization, about our everyday life, about beliefs and legends, about what our language was like. Hearing my language for the first time, Lance even asked to learn to speak it a little, and in return he tried to teach me his. But because of the difference in our articulation apparatuses, as Pixie explained it all, we couldn't repeat the sounds after each other. Ah, yes, I have human face. You have wolf boy face. Our faces do not do each other's noises very well. They could mix very well, though. They could probably do that. Nevertheless, we enjoyed trying, and we could talk a fair amount in our own language due to the devices. Juno got along great with Lance too, and sometimes looked at him with a lingering sadness, seeing him as Toshi. Lance was such a kind, open, and inquisitive guy that he was like a child, making me feel fond of him. Soon enough, Juno and I began to treat him like a little brother, and even if he was taller and bigger than me. I wanted to protect him, to keep him from making mistakes, but I realized that I could not interfere in his fate and influence his choices. It would have been great to take him with us, traveling through space together, if it hadn't been for the mission. Juno and I agreed to it willingly, and Lance still didn't know what artifacts we were looking for, or the danger behind it all. There was no way I'd let him take that risk, and Juno and I were careful not to tell the whole truth. Lance never learned that my planet had been destroyed long ago, like so many others before and after it, and his planet was still in danger, no matter how hard we tried to search for the devices. There are more of them on Wire than on 0121M. Juno and I mutually assumed it was a matter of habitability. 0-1221M was lonely and only beasts were its inhabitants, while here, in addition to the harsh climactic conditions, there were also intelligent beings. Whoever was behind all this was trying to be as safe as possible to take into account all possible risks, and that was both rage-inducing and frightening. What we were dealing with was still a mystery to us. I feel like this honestly might be, harvesting the planets for energy? Maybe, because the devices are so small and everything, he could just pick them up after a planet explodes and collect their energy, right? Maybe. I don't know. I still don't know what the point of the devices are. I hope we get an answer to that soon. We went to war with the unknown, picking up bits and pieces of information and hoping for a miracle. Ah, there we go. Some people on the screen. Finally, I was getting tired of reading into the void of the forest and the winter. Look at how cute Juno is. Look at that scarf, man. Oh my god, it's adorable. Finally, our search was coming to an end, having disabled the other devices. We headed for the last one. Juno had stocked up on all the necessary equipment in advance to analyze the device's operation as much as possible, and had taken a few robotic assistants from the jet to have a backup in case of anything. Lance was extremely interested in the devices we were finding and stated with certainty that there had definitely never been any on his planet. He was curious about the idea of observing one, especially after seeing animal corpses around the devices. There were far fewer corpses on Wire than on 0-1221M, but we didn't know why. The device's range was also noticeably smaller, but the only way we could find out why is through intensive research. When all the equipment was set up at the proper distance around the device, Juno suggested that Lance go back to the jet while we waited, but he asked to stay and spend some time with us and watch us work. We didn't mind his company, though I thought it might be dangerous, but I didn't say it out loud. Well, Research we go! Into the caves of knowledge and wonder and science! Juno's cave of knowledge and wonder and science. It's very wonderful, I should say. She's amazing. Soon Lance took us to one of the caves to build a fire and warm ourselves. From here, we could see the device left outside and surrounded by equipment, and Pixie was giving Juno all news regarding the analysis. The three of us settled around the fire. It was cold and damp in the cave, though the stone walls saved us from the strong wind. By the way, you still haven't told me what your mission is. Why do you need these devices? Do you collect them or something? Uh-oh, is she gonna tell the truth, or are we gonna half-lie? Are we gonna half-truth it? I would say half-truth better, because that's gonna make him want to go out in space even more, maybe? Or maybe telling him the truth will keep him on his planet to keep him with his people? I don't know. Juno and I looked at each other silent, trying to think of a less intimidating answer. I was surprised Lance hadn't asked about it right away, days ago when we'd found the first device, but I guess he'd been too distracted by the sheer number of new discoveries and events to think about it. The thing is, we don't collect them. We're trying to help. Lance frowned, shifting his gaze questioningly from me to Juno and back again. Help? Help who? Our planet? As well as many other planets. Seeing the reflected seriousness on our face, Lance frowned and nodded. Is that Juno's serious face? Wait a second. You're telling me that's Juno's serious face? She's such a goober and I love it. I think we're about to tell him the truth though. I think he's about to learn that his planet was about to be destroyed by weird little anomalitic forces. He turned back to the device, a purple spot shining in the blizzard. That's what I thought. They're not just artifacts. Not like a normal artifact would kill living things, right? But I was hoping there was nothing serious about it. Don't worry, we're doing everything we can to keep your planet safe. We've already had some success, and I'm sure after we shut down the last device, your planet won't be threatened. Juno smiled at Lance, trying to cheer him up a little. Lance nodded. Thank you. Can you tell me what the problem is? What is it, and why is it here? He nodded towards the device. Juno and I looked at each other again, trying to find the right words to explain everything as clearly and calmly as possible. But no matter how you worded it, it still sounded scary. I remembered what it was like to know that your home, the world you'd always know, was in danger. Thing is, there is a certain threat. I found out about it before I even met Raeal. I called this thing an anomaly. It happened from planet to planet, causing great harm to worlds, poisoning them and destroying them. In an attempt to catch up with the anomaly, I ended up on the planet where Raeal lived, but when I got there, couldn't defeat the thing. Lance shifted his questioning gaze at me. Oh no, he's gonna find out my planet was destroyed now. Oh no! Lance, I'm sorry I had to find out this way. I have a tragic backstory. I am the anime protagonist in this story. Did your planet have these things on it too? Were you able to get rid of them in the end? Juno was silent, letting me choose whether to tell the truth or lie. It wasn't an easy choice, but I couldn't help myself. Oh no! Oh God! I gotta relive through the trauma. We did everything we could to help. Then Juno suggested that I fly with her to help other planets and find the cause of the anomaly, and I agreed. So you left your home to travel too? I grinned, shrugging my shoulders. Before I met Juno, I didn't even know there was anything beyond our planet and sun. Our mythology had nothing about space in it. He's not gonna tell him! Oh no! I lived in a village where everyone from small to large believed in Heavenly Mother and Lit, the two main figures in our mythology. Lance already knew some of this information, but I never told him the whole story about my past before that. Our elders made special celebrations and festivals to honor Heavenly Mother and her little brother. When I was a child on my 3rd birthday, the elders declared that I was the chosen one because Lit had told them so. Oh God, I forgot I'm the chosen one! That's right! That's why I'm with Juno, because I'm the chosen one! And she likes my little Protogen Double D battery. Anyway, allegedly he came down to them from the form of a celestial bird and told them I would save our planet. Oh, how'd that turn out? Oh God! Did I actually save the planet? I don't think so. I didn't. My planet exploded, but maybe that was for the better. Otherwise it would have been poisoned forever. I grinned to myself as I thought back on it. It was strange to think about the past now. It seems so long ago, not 2 years ago, but 20. Oh, that's cute! Oh, I love when we get fully rendered pieces like this. That's adorable. Oh man, it reminds me of the early episodes of like Pokemon where they're surrounded by Charmeleon's fire in the Blizzard Cave. Man, that's so cute. Also, the fire being blue is kind of really cool. Memories of living in a golden cage in confinement, carrying on my shoulders the title of Chosen One that I was not ready for and did not desire at all. All of this was overshadowed by the anomaly, the virus, and the destruction of the planet. Now, when drama of a universal scale was unfolding before me, all my previous problems seemed like nonsense, childish babble. But once it had been important to me. Once it was all I lived for. And then what? How did your chosenness manifest itself? Well, I was treated like the most fragile and important thing on Earth. I was forbidden to spend my time the way I wanted to. The elders controlled everything, even my daily routine. What time to wake up and go to sleep, what to eat, what to study. I was being prepared for an important event, though no one had any idea what was in store for us. On my 20th birthday, I was supposed to be the ruler of the village and protect it from some terrible tragedy, but I didn't believe in all that. Oh God, that's right, and then it happened! Well, on my 20th birthday, I just took off and ran away. I was not allowed to go outside of the settlement, so I saw the forest for the first time, and that's where I met Juno. I smiled, shifting my gaze to Juno, who had been listening to my story the whole time, even though she knew it perfectly. That's great! Did Juno just fly in to investigate the anomaly? Yes, I stopped at the planet because I saw the anomaly activity. At the same time, I wanted to explore the area because the planet where Raeal lived, we called it II-9913. It never had space travelers. She was first contact. She broke first contact immediately. Wow! I needed a guide to tell me. Well, technically, if you think about it, I broke first contact because I saw her from the distance and I was immediately swooned by her beauty and her grace and her personalities. And it was great. And she's got great, you know what? And now that I've gotten to know her personalities up close and personal, I can confidently say, well worth the interaction. Well worth falling over and stumbling over drunk for. It's so beautiful! I needed a guide to tell me more about the planet to help me with the expedition, and Raeal just happened to get it in the way. And he lied about knowing the whole area. I laughed awkwardly, feeling my face bake slightly. Well, I lied a little, but the reason we got close to each other. Yep, when I found out that he had lied, I was terribly angry, but I couldn't let him go back to his village. I knew too much. We quickly became interested in each other. Yeah, you can say I became interested. Interested is an interesting word to put in quotes there, Juno. You know what we did. That valley will never be the same. Those animals saw things that they can never unsee now. Well, I guess the planet exploded, so technically they did unsee it. But listen, what happens under the covers stays under the covers. Lance smiled and nodded. I already noticed that you guys are in love. Aw, is it that obvious? Is it that obvious? I thought I was hiding it. I thought I was a good boy. But honestly, I never realized there could be couples like that. What, interspecies couples? Well, couples between different species, I mean. Of course there could be. In the universe, nothing is impossible. I mean, have you seen Juno? Look how pretty she is. Look how beautiful she is. She is wife material. What about you? Do you have a partner? Juno looked at Lance curiously because he didn't tell us much about himself and we didn't know that much about him. Lance smiled crookedly and shook his head when we heard the question. No, not yet. Maybe I'll meet someone out there among the stars too. Someone from another planet. Maybe. It's possible. Anything is possible. You could find your own version of Juno. Hey, Juno's got a sister, Xena. They like to share me from time to time. But maybe, I'm just saying, we could introduce you. You could learn all sorts of things about technology and stuff because she's an engineer, We nodded, deciding not to push this topic any further. What about your legends and myths? Anything you'd like to tell us? Besides Gwargus and Yargus. Yes, we have all sorts of myths. Instead of gods, we have spirits. Spirits were created by nature in the sky. And those spirits are our creators. Actually, we have many spirits. Jargus and Gwarg are just two of them. There's also Laryara, the spirit of fire, Jostra, the spirit of the dead, who helps the living cross the boundary between worlds. According to those myths, what happens to your people after you die? Well, everyone believes differently. Some believe that the dead also become spirits, only of a weaker order. They're called yurts. Yurts help Yostra, which watch over the order of things in the world, the balance of life and death. God, that sounds like some Bleach mixed with like Greek mythology. Some believe that the dead go to Yurgur and live there, forgetting their earthly life. It all depends on the tribe. Some tribes believe there is no death at all and people just fall asleep forever. This is common in the south. They do not bury or burn the bodies, but build special ice houses for them called giras. We don't do that, of course. My settlement believes that after death we become spirits, so we just burn the bodies. Allegedly, with the help of we send the dead to Yostra. And your tribes are not in conflict with each other because they believe different things? Lance smiled and shook his head. No, why would we have conflict? Just a matter of what you believe in more. And what do your people believe in? What happens after death in your belief? With us, it's much more Prozac. Prozac! We had one common belief that after death, people go to the clouds of the Heavenly Mother or to her valley and live there. Those who lived a decent life get a good job, live a pleasant eternal life in the garden picking fruits and berries. And those who were evil and did bad things, cheated and treated others unfairly, did get dirty work in the same garden. For example, cleaning cattle stalls. Lance grinned and shook his head. What a nightmare. Even after death, one must work. Yes, sort of. Death is thought of to be merely a transition from one state to another. The soul lives on and the body remains in the earth. That sounds a little strange for me, but it's really interesting. Your stories were interesting as well. Thanks for telling them. We fell into a cozy silence, each of us thinking our own thoughts. But like it usually happens, my thoughts were slowly getting more depressing as I start to think about my parents and my home. Is he not going to tell the truth the next day? I feel like we're not telling the whole truth, man. We got to tell the whole truth, you know? I was woken up by Juno. She placed a soft palm on my shoulder and asked in a calm voice, "You okay?" I nodded, distracted by my thoughts. Oh, she's worried about us because we had to relive all of those memories from our home planet. God, what a tragic, our character's got a very tragic backstory. He needs to speak up, though, and, tell this guy what the fuck the stakes are, right? Or maybe ignorance is bliss. I don't know. Yeah, just thinking about something. How's it going for Pixie? Still collecting data. I think we'll have to wait at least a couple more hours. Lance, if you want, you can go to the jet and go to bed. There's no point in waiting for us. Lance nodded. He was already looking pretty tired. Yeah, I guess I'd better go. If anything happens, just contact me, okay? Juno nodded and told Pixie to bring the jet closer for Lance. Hope he doesn't steal it. I don't know. Something's got me iffy about Lance, you know? Something about Lance is a little bit iffy, chat. Did I just say chat in a video? I'm so sorry. I'm so streamer pilled. God, you know, that's a different kind of stream, right, Juno? right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Lance said goodnight to us once more and left the cave, carefully circling around the range of the device. Juno and I were alone, sitting next to the crackling fire. Are you sure everything's okay? I begrudgingly nodded. Yeah, it's just, I remembered my parents and my home. Juno's helmet reflected a sympathetic expression on her face. I understand your pain, Raeal. You're doing good. You're trying to do everything you can to save those who still have a chance. It's really selfless of you. Selfless? More like selfish. The only thing I've done in the past 2 years was forcing you to resolve this thing with anomalies. Don't forget that I was doing that before I met you, so it's not your mission. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I was also wondering, why does Lance want to fly away so badly? Would it be right to take him with us? Juno shrugged. But it's his wish, and if that's what he wants, why not? But he's making a mistake. It's clear as day. How can he survive out there in a completely different world? He's completely unprepared for it. He is living in his own fantasies, which have nothing to do with reality. I could hear the resentment in my voice. Juno smiled softly at me. You too were not at all adapted to this different world, but still, this is different. I was forced to fly out. I had no choice. Are you saying you wouldn't fly if you had one? I frowned and shook my head. No, that's not what I meant at all. Ooh. Yeah, no, choose your words carefully here, man. I get that you got a lot of emotions right now. You're missing home. That's what matters. I mean, it would be a lot harder for me to fly away, and I still think about it, and I tried to phrase the thought in a way that would convey my opinion to Juno and not offend her, but it didn't come out the way I'd hoped or imagined in my head. I never thought about whether I would have left if things had turned out differently. Maybe I'd go up to the ship, watch space, and then ask Juno to stay on my planet with me. We could live somewhere far away, even on the same ship, and no one but my parents would know about it. But would Juno have stayed with me if things had turned out that way? She lived for travel, expeditions, and research. It was her life's work, the only purpose she had. I wasn't sure if she could give it all up for me just to live on my undeveloped, unremarkable planet. But I didn't talk about it, realizing that it would be a difficult question for both Juno and me. There was no point in discussing what hypothetically could happen now. It would never happen, so what was the point of bringing it up? Juno smiled softly and put her hand on my shoulder. It's okay, Raeal, I understand. And I understand that you want to keep Lance safe. But it's his choice, not yours. If he wants to choose to leave, well, no one has the right to stop him. He can't turn back time, and if he regrets it, what then? What if he realizes he made a mistake, say, in another galaxy? He doesn't know what he's doing. It's a silly child's dream, which in reality may turn out to be a nightmare. At least I had you when I found myself in outer space. If I were on my own, I would have just gone nuts in the first few months out there. What makes you think Lance will be alone? He'll be with us first, and then he'll meet someone on the station. There's a huge gathering of beings from all over the universe in places like this. Who knows who he'll meet out there? That is true. You never know what kind of things life's got in store. What if he gets into trouble? What if he runs into space pirates? What then? Juno told me about space pirates, criminals who travel through space and live a life of debauchery, selling sentient and non-sentient beings as slaves for food, robbing everyone, murdering innocent creatures. We didn't see them on our route, but they were often caught at stations, especially if the stations were in galaxies like ours, where there were no space states or committees to nail them. We can't protect Lance from everything, and we can't predict what's going to happen next. You yourself had suffered your whole life from having choices made for you by those who thought they knew better. You don't want to do that to Lance to take away his choices, do you? Good point! Way to drive that point home! That's a good... Yeah, you're treating him like a child. Actually, you're kind of treating him how you felt Juno's been treating you this entire time, too. So, like, let the guy make his own decisions. Even if he makes a mistake, chooses wrong and regrets it later, it's not your responsibility, Raeal. It's not mine either. I think that's empathy, though. Empathy is a hell of a drug. It's hard not to feel empathetic for people, or worry about people in general. Some people think empathy's a weakness, but I see empathy as humanity's greatest strength. It's his responsibility, and everyone has to take responsibility for their actions. I sighed, realizing that Juno was right. We hadn't forced Lance to come with us. On the contrary, he wanted to, and we could only do him a favor by taking him on our ship to the nearest station. And even though I thought it was a mistake and a stupid idea that Lance would eventually regret, it wasn't my choice. But I could not escape the unpleasant feeling that we were contributing to some bad, life-threatening adventure. And talking with Juno didn't change that, it only dulled it for a while. Hey, it's okay. Maybe Lance will change his mind. We've got a little bit of time still. Look at her face, it's so cute. She's so endearing and protective and cute and sexy and doll. Ah, you're so beautiful! I shrugged. Yeah, I guess so. We fell into silence again, looking at the distant dancing flames of the fire. It was cold in the cave, the weather was getting worse as the night wore on, and even the warm thermal clothing couldn't save me from the cold. After a while, my teeth began to clatter against each other despite the fire. Juno looked at me with concern. Are you cold? Yes, I'm very cold. I'm very cold, Juno. I'm very cold. I need to snuggle with somebody to feel warm. If you wouldn't mind snuggling with me, you know, hypothermia is a really bad situation. They say in survival situations, to combat hypothermia, it's best to strip all your clothes and sleep naked next to people. It's for survival. Yeah, that's what it is. You want to go inside the jet? No, I want to be inside something else. I can sit here by myself. No big deal. I shook my head confidently. Of course not. What are you talking about? I'm not leaving you here alone. I don't know what could happen. I remembered what had happened the last time Juno and I had been separated, and even though it was cold, I could say with certainty that I would never leave her alone. Juno nodded, apparently remembering that incident too. Suddenly, a sly smile appeared on her helmet. Uh-oh. And she looked at me with a squint. Uh-oh! Wait! It's happening! Wait! Oh, God! I think I know how to keep you warm. Wait a second! Juno! I was kind of joking, kind of not, but... wait! Juno's voice became languid and quiet, and I knew immediately what she meant. Oh, no! Oh! It's happening! It's happening! It's happening! My face blushed slightly at the thought of doing it here. Are you sure? It's not the best place to... Juno's finger rested on my lips, silencing me. Oh my God, she's so hot. Ah! Shh, I just want to share my warmth. Oh God. Her words sent shivers down my body and a hot knot formed in my stomach. Wait, it's time for Blue Twitch! Well, everybody, that is where I'm gonna leave this episode. So if you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like on the video, comment your favorite parts, what you think, if you think Lance is making a good choice or not. I'm gonna upload this next part to the Fansly website place. So if you guys do enjoy this, go over there. I'm not telling you guys what it is. I'm probably not even gonna link it. I might put the username down in the description somewhere. But if you want to see this, it'll be up there. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm Raeal the Protogen, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody! Waggo, 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 waggo.